Professor Hui, Mr. Shibuli, Professor Meng, Professor So, and ladies and gentlemen. So thank you very much for having me, first of all. And also I'm very excited because I've studied here, I've been teaching here, and now I also have the opportunity to contribute back and also work together on this FinTech program. So I'm very excited and feeling very privileged. So today I only got 15 minutes, and I've been thinking what kind of things about blockchain I can talk about. So in fact, this one is pretty challenging. So to start with, we have to talk about beer. Actually, talk about Bitcoin. In fact, blockchain is the whole concept starts from the 2008, from a seminal paper published by someone or some group with the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. So basically, if you just think about Bitcoin itself, it becomes like a worldwide currency, and we call it cryptocurrency. And probably everybody is looking at the price right now, like the exchange rate of Bitcoin against US dollar. It reached 1,000 US dollar for one Bitcoin. And in fact, what that is and why this Bitcoin becomes so epic and so important nowadays, and what kind of impact that this kind of Bitcoin is hitting the world. It's not just a cryptocurrency, but actually if you look into the technology behind, which is called blockchain, and this blockchain can actually do a lot more than just cryptocurrency. So I actually list out some of the features and things over there. Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency, and also it's anonymous, just like physical cash. If you think physical cash is anonymous, right? In fact, Bitcoin is not as that anonymous, but we just consider at this moment that Bitcoin is anonymous. And also there are actually a lot of different kinds of cryptocurrencies, not just Bitcoin. Litecoin, and recently people are talking about Zcash. Zcash is also a kind of cryptocurrency, which actually use some more advanced cryptographic techniques to make it truly, we call it truly, which I'm not sure whether it's truly or not. At this moment, people believe that it's truly anonymous. So there are actually a lot of cryptographic techniques which is used for making sure that this kind of cryptocurrency is really anonymous, and also it's decentralized. So there's no central bank there. So if we look at the Bitcoin technology, there is a philosophy behind, which means what we believe is that on the internet there are more good guys than bad guys. What I mean is the following. For the Bitcoin, it's a distributed network. There are a lot of nodes running this kind of network. And as long as we have more people, they follow the protocol of Bitcoin. All right? They follow the protocol of Bitcoin, then this Bitcoin system will work. If most of the people, they are malicious, they want to sabotage the Bitcoin system, then the system will not work. So based on this kind of philosophy, a good-willing philosophy, and then by adding some of the mathematical equations, we call it those cryptographic techniques, we can make this distributed cryptocurrency work. And then about this Bitcoin, what I would like to say more about the Bitcoin is that it's not just a cryptocurrency, but we can do more things. This is actually a screen capture of some of my wallets, Bitcoin wallet. And also there's another one called Ethereum, which is also a pretty popular cryptocurrency nowadays. There are actually tons of those cryptocurrencies. Actually, you can see how poor I am. But if you just look at the left-hand side, that's a Bitcoin. I have 0.01779 Bitcoin in that particular wallet. So way less than $1. I mean 1 Bitcoin. But actually at that time when I first purchased this 0.01 at that kind of Bitcoin, I only spent roughly about like $5 US for that. Wow. And then look at that. Okay. So yeah, I'm not a smart investor. At that time, I should actually buy more, a lot more zeros at the back. Right? So as you can see, in fact, you can actually look into this kind of like new kinds of system, and also think about what kind of things that we can do, not just as a cryptocurrency. In fact, there are a lot of applications that we have been, right now we are using Bitcoin to do, like remittance, cross-border remittance. Actually, some of the, especially in Hong Kong, a lot of domestic helpers, they actually send their savings back to, say, Philippines or Indonesia. And then what they do is that they actually make use of Bitcoin to do it, because the overhead, I mean, the cost will be much lower when compared with the conventional remittance. And there's another term that I would like you guys to take away. It's called disintermediation, meaning that we don't need those big shot of financial institute to take care of all those transactions. We can have a more decentralized way to do it. Of course, maybe CUHK is going to say that you have to be very careful about the security, about the anonymity and whatnot. So this one is actually the exchange rate of Bitcoin and US. Nowadays, it's reached the all-time high, 1,000 US dollar. But actually, to investigate into how comes nowadays the exchange rate is so high, there is a very significant and profound economic impact behind that. So because Professor He is over here, I'm not going to explain further about the reason why, but I think this is a very interesting topic to discuss about, to do the research on it. Of course, Bitcoin is not just used for the good things, but also is being abused by hackers. This is ransomware that actually some of those malicious hackers, they hack into your machines and then encrypt everything and then demand for some ransom. And to get the ransom, they actually ask you to pay by Bitcoin. Why? Because it's anonymous. Okay. So this is pretty expensive, 1.2 Bitcoin. At that time, it's 500 US. Right now, it's more than 1,000 US for just decrypting one machine. So you have to be very careful about that one. So at ASTRI, we are also investigating about this. Rather than helping you to pay the Bitcoin, we try to decrypt it. So about the Bitcoin, the underlying technology is called blockchain. So what is blockchain? Basically, we just consider blockchain as a database. It's used for storing things. And this database is distributed. It's not just one single database, but it's distributed all over the world. So if one portion of this database is brought down, then the system is still up and running because you still have another portion up and running. So this is very nice because it provides reliability. And also it makes use of some cryptographic techniques so that whenever you put something onto this database, you cannot remove that. Is it good or is it bad? Well, it depends on how you use it. If you use it in a right way, it's very nice. We call it immutable. If you put things over there, you cannot change it. So that's why there are actually a lot of applications right now is coming up by making use of these features. The first one is that it's distributed, replicated, so that it's very reliable. The second thing is it's immutable. If you put things there, it's traceable, and also nobody can change it. Another nice idea is called smart contract. We call it the blockchain 2.0. So smart contract is basically some computer programs, but you can actually run this computer program on top of a database. It's a new abstract concept. So just think about, you have some business workflow, you can actually embed this business workflow onto the blockchain so that nobody can change it. Right? So it can reduce a lot of error, and also the computer code becomes some legal bind agreement. So if you are considering of joining this, for example, computer science, I think in the future you will see how powerful computer programming could be. So I also prepared a very short video for introducing the blockchain. Here we go. I'm not sure whether there is any sound.
Modern technology allows us to purchase goods and online services in just a few clicks. Imagine two people living far apart and would like to make a transaction. In order to verify the details of the transaction, a third party is needed and often involves extra costs and processes. Blockchain is an emerging technology to create secure and trusted distributed databases that can simplify workflows and reduce intermediation costs. When a transaction occurs, related information will be recorded onto a block, which is part of the distributed database. New blocks will be validated by a network of distributed nodes using cryptography. When somebody tries to tamper with the records, the incident will be detected by some nodes on the network. A block that's verified gets linked to the previous blocks through crypto computations, forming a chain of blocks. Blockchain technology has the potential to revolutionize the financial industry, as it can build a trusted, traceable, and transparent financial infrastructure. Besides financial services, it can also be applied to building smart contracts, storing medical records, and automating public services. Blockchain's possibilities are only limited by our imagination.
So this one is a very short video introducing blockchain. We have already put this one online on YouTube. So you can actually do the Google search, YouTube search, ASTRI, and then blockchain, you will be able to find this clip. So next I'm going to introduce some of the applications of blockchain, how we use this blockchain. This one is a very famous website called Music. It's a digital rights management system. Instead of having like a major label to manage all those music or all those IP, intellectual property, this is actually based on blockchain. What I mean is that, for example, we have some songwriters compose a song, and then this songwriter can actually publish this song and then provide this ownership information about the use policies onto the blockchain. So for example, if I am the customer, I want to buy this or download this song, then I only need to pay, for example, Ethereum coin or Bitcoin, and then I can get a copy of that song. So the whole thing can be done seamlessly and instantly on the blockchain. So this concept is called disintermediation. We don't need the big, those big labels to manage the digital rights. Everything is handled by those cryptographic ideas or techniques on the blockchain. So nobody can change it. And also another good thing is that it can reduce the cost significantly. Right? And also for the songwriters, they can get the income immediately rather than waiting for like months or if it is not years in order to get the royalty fee. So this is a very good idea about using blockchain called disintermediation. Another application about this blockchain is that it can actually manage the smart grid. For example, nowadays, in a lot of Western countries, there are those solar panels. And then on those solar panels, some of those houses, they might have some surplus energy. They don't need that much of the energy. For example, most of the time, they are working, they are not at home, but their solar power is still generating electricity. So just think about, they can actually sell the electricity to their neighbors, right? So about all these logics, they can actually put onto the blockchain. And then the blockchain is going to handle the payment and also all the management stuff about the energy for the customers. So by using the whole thing, once again, the idea is called disintermediation. Everybody can be the seller and everybody can be the buyer. So about this one, this is another very exciting project that ASTRI developed for Hong Kong's Bank of China, Hong Kong. This is called property valuation system. So what we do is the following. A property valuation reporting system is the following. Suppose you want to buy an apartment unit, and then you want to do the mortgage. And then the first thing you will do is that you approach a bank and then try to get the property valuation. So once the bank receives your request, and then the bank is going to make a call to a surveyor, and then the surveyor is going to deliver the property valuation. Everything's done right now in a manual way, and a lot of papers involved, and also everything's done, say, through emails or actually by paper. So the whole process may take like 1 week or even 2 weeks in order to get it done. But if you put it on blockchain, we are just talking about a few hours, or maybe a few minutes. Or if the property valuation report is already on the blockchain, then the banks can simply download it. So right now what we are trying to do is that we try to create a collaboration platform so that all the banks will be able to access the information on the blockchain directly without contacting the surveyors one by one. And also we can make use of this blockchain to collect the collect money basically from the banks. For example, every time when the bank want to query for the property valuation report, the bank can actually set the cryptocurrency. So they can make use of the either coin or the Bitcoin in a good way. So this is very important, and then we have this one in production already. Two months ago, Bank of China, Hong Kong, made the announcement about this one, and then we are actually working on the second phase. I hope that later in a couple of months, I'm going to make some new announcement, and then we are going to have some enhancement as well. So about the takeaway of the blockchain, I only got 15 minutes over here. So I would like to highlight a few points. The first one is disintermediation, which is very important because we can actually reduce the cost, make it more efficient, and also we can do a lot of things in a conservative way. Another thing is that think about the blockchain. The main objective or the advantage of blockchain is that the record will become immutable. Everything becomes traceable. So we can do a lot of things just based on this feature. Just think about what kind of things you can do. And also blockchain, I believe blockchain is actually a catalyst rather than just blockchain can do everything. Blockchain is a catalyst for us to go to a paperless society and also to make everything efficient, digitize everything. So I think this is the right timing for us to think about in our society, in different industrial sectors, not just in the financial industry sector, in all kinds of business sectors, what kind of things that we can make it paperless, we can digitize it. And then blockchain is just a catalyst for doing the whole thing. So thank you very much, and in the future, when we have this program running, and I'm sure that we have one course which is about blockchain, and I would love to come over here and share with you more. Thank you.